decided, actually, this word, every single time it comes out of my mouth, I notice that I start feeling like all the shoulda couldas, and not only shoulda couldas, but it usually comes with a lot of self-comparison. And it's not even necessarily self-comparison to people outside of myself. Sometimes it's self-comparison to what an old version of me thought my future could or should look like. I gave up should because I realized it was keeping me trapped. It was keeping me trapped in an old version of who I thought I was supposed to be, as opposed to giving me the freedom and the presence to really sink into this current moment and where I am. And one of the ways that that's greatly given me a gift is just being honest and saying, actually, record scratch, that career that I thought I wanted, that I should have wanted, that's not what I want for myself at age 42. And now it's time for a pivot. And in this video, we're about to talk about what it means to take a career pivot at a big old age of 42, and why I'm so excited now to live in a way that feels like, she's here. She's here. She is fully owning and becoming her, that girl, the one that is like,
she hot. I like her.
I'm gonna be wherever she's having, okay?
You ready to speak like a boss? Let's get into your most powerful story. Because your story matters.
First of all, if you're new here, thank you so much for being here. And if you've been here, girl, you know I appreciate you, okay? Like, if you're an OG and you've already been here, I really, truly, you got my heart. What I want to talk about today is what it took for me to finally, at the age of 42, just say the way that my life had been playing out and the career that I'd been on. So if you're new here, let me tell you a little backstory. I'm a Khokhodi. I went to writing school in my 30s after I was a social entrepreneur and was honestly killing it. I was doing some really cool, impressive projects. I was New York based at the time, New York City. We went on a really huge trip to the east of Africa. I was in East Africa, and I came back from this trip. Things did not go according to plan on the trip. I came back and I was like,
Oh, hell no!
I am allergic to whatever just happened, and I can't have that happen to me again. Long story short, what I learned is the path that I was on, it really was not serving me. And I left, I quit my own company, okay? At the time I was running it with my boyfriend, now husband, and I was like, I'm out. Like,
It's awkward.
because it's my own company, but I've built up something that does not look like where I want to go. I then started writing, complete pivot change, right? And for a lot of people who are in my life, that to them felt like, whoa, whiplash, where are we going? For me, I've been writing and identified not as a writer. I don't call myself a writer, but I always knew. You know when you always know? Like, I've been known since I was like old enough to put words together that I love words, I love storytelling, and I knew one day I'm going to write a book. Around 30, I got dead ass serious about that goal, and I was like, if this thing's ever gonna happen, like, it's gonna happen because I put some grease behind it, right? And not only that, I also went through a huge mental health awakening during this period, which is what pushed me out. That was the allergy to the work, because I was like, I can't be whole and happy doing this. I need something else. Writing saved me, writing healed me, writing also gave me an entirely different vocation. All right, so you're with me. So then I become a writer, and then guess what? I become a published writer. I go to like a fancy school, I go to Iowa Writers Workshop, I do all of the things that you need to do. There's a video here if you're interested in how to become a published author. Check out that video because it walks you through some of the steps that you will definitely need to tick off, and every writer has to in order to become a published author. So check that out. But I did all of those things, and I started another company. And that's this company. The name of it is Love is a Kind of Cure. And if you're a true OG, you remember the festivals that we used to put on during the pandemic. I mean, like, let me tell you something. First of all, this company was started as an ode and celebration to Toni Morrison. Okay, the only Black woman who has ever won a Nobel Prize for literature in over 100 years of the Nobel Prize giving out those awards for literature. I mean, that's bananas. That is bananas that she is the only one. But I digress. We launched at the Brooklyn Museum to create this really beautiful birthday bash that was in her honor after she had passed. And it was a call to us from community. I mean, we really felt so embraced in what we were doing. I say we because it was Clevis Natera and myself at the time. And by the way, like, we had so much fun together. Like, that girl is a real good time. We then pivoted, as everybody had to during the pandemic, because we're like, we can't be at the Brooklyn Museum anymore. So now what do we do if we can't be in spaces like that? And we figured out a way to bring all of that energy into beautiful arts-based offerings that were all virtual and that celebrated and were in conversation with some of the biggest and most brilliant minds and folks that I'm just like, how do we have a conversation with Arundhati Roy? How do we have a conversation with Tayari Jones? Like, these are women that we had admired and loved and studied for such a long time, right? But then something else happened, like, and this is the plot twist that I am talking about now, because Clevis Natera stepped away from the company so she could focus on her writing. That left me alone holding the realm. And I looked around me and I was like, you know, what we're doing, it feels so important and it feels like soul food. But I have to ask myself, is this the best use of my God-given talents? Does this feel, because a lot of the work that we were doing was also anti-racist, does this really feel like my deepest calling from the belly? And the answer surprised even me. It was, yes, I'm committed to the work. I was born in apartheid South Africa, okay? That means I came out the womb ready to take on white supremacy. I had to be. That is the society that I was raised in. So I will always understand and have a lens of my work that is dismantling that nonsense. But at the same time, like, I don't want to run a company whose existence is being against something that I don't want in the world. I want a company that feels joyful. I want work to feel like something that is for us, right? That is an affirmation of life. And thus, I am a storyteller. Like, that is the thing that I am brilliant at. I know how to get on a stage and bring an audience with me and transform that audience to take them somewhere where they have never been. I know how to get on the page and break it down, honey, like nobody else ever break it down. I mean, you don't have to trust me on this. Listen to what the New York Times has to say about my book in it. Listen to what the Guardian has to say about my book in it. I want to use this gift towards helping other Black and brown women, especially, and also queer folk, people who were born not in apartheid South Africa, but also at the margins, people who were discounted, people who folks were like, I won't really bet on that one. That's who I'm betting on. And the work that I am doing through this company now, the pivot, is how do I shine my light and focus on those people to amplify their stories, their intellectual property, their experiences, to make them into the thought leaders that we so desperately need. That is what my coaching practice is about. It also looks like changing how I work. One of the things that's become really important to me, and this is the gift of motherhood, is clarity. Motherhood has given me a lot of clarity in understanding, wait a minute, like how am I actually hustling? And do I want to be hustling? Because I want ease and I want abundance and I want my child to see that that is possible by being an example of that, right? And for me, one of the ways that I know that to be true in work is going for consistency over clicks and clout. Going for consistency over clicks and clout. It is so easy on these social media lanes, living out here on the internet, to be more concerned about how many followers do we have, how many big names are coming to us and eager to work with us, all the clout that we receive. And don't get me wrong, big names and the kind of clout that is healthy, that builds something, right? Something that is true and in the real world, that stuff matters. But what I'm talking about is the kind of empty clout that these algorithms are training us into, wanting to chase things that are like, how does this affect the price of milk in the real world? Like, I don't want to be chasing that kind of clout. I don't want to be making stuff that is only for clickbait. What I really want is to create work that is transformative and that is consistent. So I've had to reorient my own work life to think about, how do I show up more consistently without burning myself out, right? Because I'm not here for the clicks. I'm not here for the clout. I'm here for the transformation. That is something that has been a game changer for me, changing my career at 42. Pivot. And I promised you I was going to share how it actually feels to have gone through this huge pivot that I described. One of the things that is most important to me in this season of my life is completely owning, and just being comfortable with saying, yeah, I want a career that's super glamorous. I want a career that is super joyful. I want to get up in the morning and feel joy. I also want to be consistent, but like, I want to go on like fancy brand deals. Like that is part of how I want to pay the bills. And I want to be in rooms with people who understand the beauty of design and fashion just as much as they are dead ass about public policy that is going to free all of us. Just as much as they are thought leaders and understand what it means for us. I'm talking about us, right? Marginalized folks who've long been marginalized, what it's going to mean when we become thought leaders, how it's going to benefit not just us, but everybody. That is the kind of world that I'm creating. That is the kind of world that I'm calling into my life, okay? Please understand and know all of these things that are deep desires in your belly. Those things are things that you can say yes to, and you don't have to choose. You don't have to choose. And those things, they coexist inside of you, and they can coexist inside of the outside in the world if you allow them to. And the purpose of this whole song and dance, the purpose of this whole video is to remind you and to give you the permission to take the pivot that you need to, that's going to get you closer to what your soul and your deepest innards most desire. I hope that this has been helpful to you, and if it has, let me know in comments. Are you considering a career pivot? What are you hungry for that you're a little bit scared to admit out loud? Really, what I really want is what she's having, but it looks a little bit like too glamorous, so I don't know, but can I dip my toe in? Let me know in comments. Thank you again for being here. My name is Mafo Khodi. It is such a pleasure to be here with you. New episodes drop every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, and I also want to plug a really cool and special project that I'm working on. It's called, drumroll please, Madam Speaker Says, a new podcast for all of my other aunties in chief. It drops right here on this platform, Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern, beginning May 18. You can also catch it anywhere else that you listen to your podcast. So we can be ear buddies, because don't you love a good podcast? I know I do. Okay, I can't wait to share that with you. Thank you again. I want you to know this, like, you being here and showing up consistently, that word again, consistently, is such a gift to me. It is such a blessing, and it allows me to be consistent and to go deeper into this thing that feels like a gift that my ancestors and God have laid on my shoulders. So thank you for being here. Please let me know in comments where you're coming from. Let me know all of the details, all of the things. I'll see you real soon.
Was that useful? You want to go even deeper? I'd love to support you. My coaching program can help you make money and spark action whenever you speak with intention. Book time to chat using the link in the description box below. Also, leave a comment if this video offered something you needed to hear today, or if you have a question you want me to unpack in next week's episode. Fresh episodes drop every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Hit subscribe to get a notification so you never miss a beat. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to know that your story matters. And I'm here to help you stand out from the stage to the page.